Why is this bomb empty? And why are they putting toilet paper in it? Since when is it cool to dump garbage out of airplanes? And is that fish? It's all related, and it's not what you think. Congratulations, if you already figured out that we're talking about airdrop. Not this airdrop, this airdrop. The one that delivers bad news about your loved ones and good news about the space programs and everything in between, including puppies. Here are 10 things airdropped from the lightest to the heaviest. We start with the lightest of all, paper. Airborne leaflet propaganda serves as a form of psychological warfare. Pamphlets could be loaded and dropped using leaflet bombs or just hand-dropped from the aircraft. If you're questioning the effectiveness of these leaflets, here's an example. During World War II, Germany airdropped tens of thousands of leaflets targeting American soldiers. One particular series, yes, there were series, revolved around a couple, Bob and Joan. Bob is away fighting the war, and in his absence, Joan is getting a lot of attention from her boss Sam, who happens to be a war profiteer. Phrases like, 2 years is a long time for any girl, and Joan loves Bob, but she doesn't know when he'll come back, can really mess with the psyche of a homesick soldier. My favorite part was the note that Germans left at the bottom of each leaflet saying, check out our other stories in this series. And this was before social media and hashtags were a thing. Paratroopers don't need introduction, since mass airdrop of troops was utilized multiple times during World War II, like over 21,000 American, British, and Canadian paratroopers that were involved in the invasion of Normandy. But Callie may need introduction, the only search and rescue dog in the entire US military trained on finding people in the wilderness, buildings, and in the event of a disaster. And this is Callie completing her parachute course. One thing's for sure, Callie is on a much better career path than I am. But let's go back to that flying fish. Some US states, like Utah, Colorado, and New York, stock their high-elevation lakes with fish each summer. But in the recent years, they've started doing it aerially. As you can imagine, the fish that bought first-class tickets get priority boarding and are dropped like this. And the ones that bought economy tickets have to fight over carry-on space and are dropped like this. Airdropping small amounts of food and water for Cuban migrants stuck on an island, delivering blood to an ill person stuck on a cruise ship, replenishing fuel at remote communities, and delivering equipment to the troops during battle are various types of cargo that are often airdropped on pallets weighing up to 2,000 pounds. The single airdrop of cereal in South Sudan can feed 3,000 people for a whole month. This one is an unusual one. An aircraft airdropped from another aircraft. This is XF-85 Goblin, a parasite fighter weighing 4,500 pounds. The idea was that a bomber aircraft like B-36 would carry this parasite aircraft and deploy it as needed for protection against hostile interceptor aircraft. Of course, this prototype never made it to production, but I'm sure you've heard of the next category. How can we talk about airdropping and not talk about Humvees? Some of you may disagree, but those suspensions were made for this. Well, except for that one time when an American soldier cut off the parachutes and 5,200 pounds of metal hit the ground in free fall. Now my Morse code isn't the best, but I'm pretty sure those beeps translate to some guy's gonna lose their job over this. Boats can fly too, off of a C-17 Globemaster, of course. But when that 19,000-pound boat falls, it better land in water. And by the way, paratroopers always jump after the equipment has been airdropped, and not before. The reason is simple. Scientific studies have proven that if a big cargo lands on you, it can ruin your day. Whatever is coming out of this KC-130 cargo plane is massive. That's a 23,000-pound 5-bay medium girder bridge attached to a 32-foot platform. Upon landing, the bridge was assembled as part of an exercise. and a girder bridge can be used by this next category. This is how a 42,000-pound Sheridan tank is airdropped. Well, actually 4 of them were airdropped from the C-5B Galaxy, which was a world record at the time. But tanks and Humvees can also be delivered using the Low-Altitude Parachute Extraction System, or LAPS. It goes with us saying that dropping off a tank close to the ground like that requires some mad skills. Russians once airdropped a hospital, well, in pieces. The hospital personnel were also airdropped after, not in pieces. This allows bringing medical help to remote areas in a short period of time. And as we've said it in our previous videos, in Mother Russia, hospital come to you. And finally, the biggest single load ever. Airdropped, to the best of our knowledge, is this Jumbo Drop Test Vehicle, or JDTV. Just look at the size of this thing. It makes that massive C-17 look small. Normally, a C-17 is restricted to a maximum weight of 60,000 pounds for a single platform airdrop. So this 85,000-pound airdrop definitely pushed the limits, setting a new weight record. The purpose of this test, which was done in collaboration with NASA, was to test and confirm the design of the parachute recovery systems for the space vehicles coming back from the space, which is very important, because this is what it looks like when the chute works as expected. And this is when it doesn't.